thanks for having me on, guys. This is awesome. I love gear, love talking all about it. So yeah, this is going to be really fun.
I'm so excited. You guys are, everybody, please share this out. Hit that like button. Follow these guys.
You guys have created a phenomenal space with Dealcasters Live. I am so excited to be here.
How's it going?
Who was talking to you, Siri? I said the A lady.
You're a live streamer. There's so many people who learn from you, who watch you.
We build influence by this level of tenacity and our commitment to consistency.
Because people really want that kind of conversation and relationship.
Yeah, and your show won't be boring. Right? You know.
Oh my God, I love you guys. Chris, you're just amazing. Jim, so are you. You guys are the best hosts ever, I think.
Just stop, please.
Yeah. Yep. I did. I just realized something, Jim. We were muted. So here's what happened. For those of you who are tech inclined, sometimes when you want to do, like, we try to make these shows as special as possible every time we go live, which means we like to add something new. We like to do, and there's a bunch of stuff. Not only do we have a bunch of new products to talk to you about here on Amazon, and if you're not watching us on Amazon, you're on what's up, Gabe? How are you? Welcome to the show. So if you are not over on Amazon, you're over on any of the other tubes, whether it's LinkedIn, it's Facebook, I can hear Chris, but can't hear Jim. Interesting. All right, so hang on. Thank you for that. Okay.
We need to have a
talk. Jim, give me a check.
Check it out.
Yeah, you're there, but you're low. This was the issue. Hello, Serene G. Thanks for joining us here on Amazon. We're trying some new stuff and including some new gear. And right now, Jim, why don't you give us a sound check? Gabe, let us know if you can hear Jim.
Gabe, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? It's one of those weird things where I hear.
We have liftoff. Thank you for that, Gabe. We appreciate that. So what happened? See, what had happened was, and I have no idea why things happen like right when you hit go live. And Gabe, you know this. Like, boom, we go live, and immediately my monitor's gone. I'm like, how did that happen? How in the world did that happen? And not only that, but like, and so I looked down and like somehow it got unplugged. Like I kicked something fell, whatever. And so Jim can see what's happening backstage. I'm jumping up and down. I've got this thing flying off my ear. I'm trying to plug things back in. I can hear the intro, although no one who saw the intro could hear it, because what happened was that it also muted. And so anyway, we're all here.
I heard it. I guess I was I guess that
Right.
feels special, because at least remember before when we were doing this, and I don't know
Yes.
if it's because I'm using the Rodecaster Pro 2 now, I would see the video, but I couldn't hear it. So now I was the only one that got to hear it. So it's kind of funny that
Right.
we do that. And welcome, Chatalicious. So you guys can see yourselves in the chat.
We're gonna line this up. Thanks to Ecamm, because Ecamm allows us to do super cool and fun stuff like what you see on your screen right now. I'm gonna get this lined up, Jim. Let's start talking about some of this new stuff we got. We got some new stuff going on, and man, I'd love to hear your opinion on some of this Heil music, on some of these Heil music mics that we've got going on. I mean,
even though right now I'm actually talking into the Shure MV7, just in case those of you in the car buying public are wondering, we I guess, Chris, we can say it, Heil and Shure, we are working with both of them.
Yep.
Truth be told, and so they've provided us some of their gear, but these opinions are our own. Nobody else's. They didn't pay us to say what we say, but I will just say they're both great companies. We are excited to be testing some of this stuff out. And Chris, is that a Heil microphone that you?
This is the Heil PR40. Yes, Jim. I'm glad you asked. Thanks for asking. Yeah, so this is the mighty Heil PR40, and I am absolutely loving it. And so, like you, I've got a Shure MV7 as well, and I can tell you the immediate difference between the Heil mics in general and a lot of the mics, like whether it be a Shure SM7B or MV7, is that you're going to get that those upper mid range. So you're going to get a crispier kind of sound. So we say this all the time. So anybody that is looking for the mic, Jim, what's the number one question people ask us all the time? I mean, besides the obvious, Jim always gets asked if he's married. But the second most question that we do get is, what microphone should I use? Right. And so, it's not, we're not hedging, ladies and gentlemen, when we say it depends. It truly does depend on your voice, and as well as what you're using it for, right? So if you are someone who is, really, is graduating to a broadcast level, right? So you've got the podcasting down, you've treated your room so you've got carpeting, you got fluffy stuff in there because you don't want things echoing around, and so you've got all that stuff going on, and you're like, I've got a mic that's okay, but now I feel like I can get something, then you start talking about what your voice is like. And maybe Jim, I think you've got your voice, you've got like a lower timbre voice than I do. I have a sort of a
word, timbre.
Timbre. And so when your voice is lower like that, and then you throw a really kind of boomier mic in the mix, you're going to sound like you big and woofy. It's like, there's going to be a lot of low end, and you have to like adjust things like EQ and things like that. You want to find a mic where you don't have to do too much to it. You want to be able to plug that thing in and you just sound really good out of the box. And that's the first thing I noticed with these Heil mics. Every single one of the PR37, which we've got in the carousel, which is, out of all the mics that Heil Music has sent us, that's the one that I feel like, if I can use this in the best possible.
I think you're getting a little bit of a man crush on the 37.
It's the most underrated mic, in my opinion. Of the PR40 is awesome. This is their, for lack of a better term, like this is their Shure SM7B. This is what is used in satellite radio stations. In this is Pat Flynn's mic is the Heil PR40. These are, and it's Jeff C's mic too. So, and Scott Ayers, but these are, it's a broadcast level microphone. When I plugged in the PR37, I was like, oh, well, this is kind of like a, your general music mic, right? Here, let me grab it really quickly. If you could only see the the piles of boxes and microphones and stuff that I've got around me, it's insane. I really do need to vacation was great, but I'm paying for it. Absolutely. Are you okay there, Jim?
I am, but I realized that we did not put the PR37 in the
Okay. So Gabe says, I'm looking at monitors and mounting stands as well as tripods and lighting to purchase. I'll check out past episodes. Well, you don't have to check out past episodes. Checking out past episodes is always encouraged. And yes, shout out to Scott, Pat, and Jeff. So we can talk lighting. I think I put the Viltrox lights in the carousel. That's what I use for my LED lighting. And but what I did not put in is the LED light that I've got that's coming in, that's giving me this. You can see right now when I do this. Right. And I got this light. Let me just...
on Amazon.
I did, but I got it because I was watching Kirk Nugent, and Gabe knows Kirk Nugent. Let me flip this over. I'm going to show you some lights. See, this is what we do. We don't need no stinking plan. We're going to do this, and we're going to show you lights, and I'm going to do this right here. That puppy.
Oh, wow. That's like a big light.
Yes. So, and when I got that because, my new Sony A6100 with that Sigma lens, when you get yourself a big old bright light like that, really makes this thing pop. And so, if you've got even if it's a ZV-1 or a ZV-E10, all of which are in the carousel, you want to get these, and this is the Viltrox LED that a lot of people will use, an Elgato key light, but I like to flank 2 key lights, get a little warmth in there, and then get this big old bright puppy. This is a Neewer light that I got, which we did not put in the carousel, but I can research that for you, Gabe, and do that. That's my overhead. That's my ZV-1. Say hello to ZV-1. Hi, ZV-1. And then, of course, there's the other LED light there. I do have this other light, which is in one of our, what do you call them? Idea lists that's on our shop page. And this is just something that, let me switch back over to this. It's just something that can separate my head from the lights behind me. That's a Junaid Ahmed thing. So you want that three level lighting thing where behind if I get a light that's going right here, right on the top of my head, it's going to separate me from these, this light behind me, which is just going to have me sort of sit in the center. So that's kind of that's kind of the deal with what we've got going on for lighting. I know, Jim, you've got a couple things going on your end as well. But really quickly, I can roll over to this Heil PR37. And so I'll be 100% honest with you. My expectations on this were it's going to be a great mic. It's Heil Music, Heil Sound, sorry. And they make really great microphones. I thought, well, this is just going to be, I don't want to use, it looks like a Shure SM58 combined with maybe an SM57. So I thought, well, and it's used a lot for vocals, for music on stage. And so I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's pop it in and see what it sounds like for podcasting. Fantastic microphone. Absolutely fantastic microphone. And what I'm going to use this for is for interviews when I'm out and about. This is going to be total all-purpose, similar to maybe a Samson Q2u, where you can plug this in. The difference, there's a couple of differences between this and Samson Q2u. First and foremost, it is purely an XLR microphone. In fact, all of the Heil Sound microphones are XLR, do not have a USB option. That is intentional. This is all about high-level sound, and when you do plug a microphone or use a microphone where it's USB, there is, you're going to get a drop off. For most people, they can't tell the difference. For people who are, nerding out on sound, they can. And so you get a good cable, and you've got XLR, and you're going to get that high level. The other difference besides that is you're going to get that crispy upper mid sound, but the handling of this thing, I could, in fact, I'm just going to do this right now.
You're going to drop it?
Yeah, I'm going to throw it across my studio. No, hang on. I'm going to plug this in. I've got the PR40 in right now. I'm going to.
Yeah, and Gabe, one of the things too that we have in the carousel is the Heil Boom Arm, and I am in love with it. So I know you were talking about looking for mounts. This thing is heavy duty, not to mention Chris and I both have the shock mount, which works great with the with a lot of the Heil mics. You can just slide your XLR cable through there, and it's rugged.
All right, so now I'm talking to the PR37. So I don't know if you can tell a huge difference between what I was speaking to in both of these mics. I haven't done anything to them. There's no EQ, no compression. It's very intentional, what I'm doing right now. You may be getting a slight difference in gain one way or the other. I'm not sure which one, though. I can't really tell personally right now. But you can tell a difference between the mic that I was speaking into, which is the PR40, and I don't have a shock mount. I've got it in my hand. If I'm handing it to somebody, of course, you're going to hear a difference when I'm moving it around, right? But this is, so if you're singing, if you're on stage or whatever, but like for interviews, right? So when you're out at a conference and you're recording your podcast, this is a dynamic mic. So a lot of the sound and the stuff that's going on around you, this is going to kill some of that. And, the handling noise, I don't know if, sometimes you'll see these people, they'll be using their lav mics, and they're holding their lav mics and they're going back and forth doing it. You know what that sounds like when you're handing a lav mic back and forth? Sounds like hot garbage. It's annoying, especially annoying to someone like me. But because somebody else has to edit that out of a podcast, and I'm sitting there tweaking out while I'm trying to do it. So there you go. That's, to me, the PR37 of all these Heil mics, and we're going to go through a bunch of them. We've got some Shure stuff here as well. This is the one that just jumped out at me, like, wow. Surprise. I feel like it's almost underrated. Like nobody really talks about PR37. Everybody talks about PR40, right? To me, the 37, sure, it's more, it's more affordable, but it's just fantastic microphone.
Right. Well, and Chris, we talk about this a lot too when it comes to all of this gear, right? And I think even more so lately when I've been, listening to people talk, is like, this is an investment. You buy this microphone. Sure, it's not the cheapest microphone in the world, but like you said, you just plug it in and you're able to use it, and it's an investment, right? This will last you for years. You take care, these things take care of themselves. The other thing I thought was interesting when we were talking with Michelle, when Jeff and I were talking to her during Prime Days, is you don't need a pop filter. It's kind of built in. I mean, it's right. They really think about all those things. So you'll notice that when you get the microphone, it doesn't have a pop filter with it. So Chris, added his own pop filter because, he likes pop filters. But it's solid. It's
great microphone.
great microphone, and we're going to show you some a little bit. You may not be aware of this, those in the car buying public, as Chris likes to say, but Heil actually made the microphone for the Hunger Games, the Fin, and that is a pretty cool mic. Look at that. There it is right there. And I mean, so now I'm scared
so gorgeous.
Send me to District 4 or 14, and I'm going to get hit by the bows and arrows.
God, it's okay. That, you know, I should turn off my light. We were just talking about lighting. Now I'm going to turn off the lights. This is the fun part. We'll highlight the Fin now in the carousel. So, Jim, you mentioned that this mic was in the movie The Hunger Games, and the other thing too is they make different colored lights, and there's two different housings for this particular mic. This is the chrome and blue. It's almost as if Heil Sound knew I was a Detroit Lions fan. Now, I think, Gabe, I think you're a Cowboys fan, if I'm not mistaken. I think I've seen you wear a Cowboys hat. So this is pretty close to Cowboys, right? I mean, but I like to think it's more Detroit Lions than it is Dallas Cowboys. But, you know, anyway, Johnny Kong, welcome to Dealcasters once again. Yeah, we're talking mics, King Kong. And so I'm going to turn off my lights. And so not only are you getting like really cool vibey things going on, but it absolutely sounds great. I've got this hooked up. So I'm going to be switching off the PR40 and going to the Fin, but I'm also going to dim my lights so that you can see the lights, the LED lights on this microphone. So we talked about XLR and USB microphones. Obviously, all these Heil mics are XLR, but you're thinking to yourself, well, it's a dynamic microphone. How are you getting the light to come on? So it uses phantom power to have this LED light come on. So in the case of me, I've got my Rodecaster Pro right here, and so when I switch over to this microphone right here, I'm going to turn on the phantom power of the microphone, and you're going to be able to see how that works. So let me dim the lights really quickly. I've got a cup of coffee. This is making me nervous. If you want to go into
a solo view, Chris, so we can get a better.
Yeah, well, maybe you know what? I think we might need some vibes. You think we may need some musical vibes going on with those? With this, let's get some music vibes going with this microphone.
It's like Phantom of the Opera power, or just Phantom power?
Yeah, we're gonna get some vibes here. Let's get that going, and then I'm going to turn off this microphone.
And hello, Rome Knows Tech and Mr. Moderator.
What's up, Rome? You hear me, Jimmy? Can you hear me, Jim? All right. So now we're talking into the Fin from Heil. I'm going to dim my lights so that you can kind of see what's going on here. Let me bring down the brightness. Yeah, let me bring it down like that. All right. And so as I said before, I'm going to turn this right here. And so I've got this mic happening here, and now I'm going to turn on the phantom power, and I'll flip it back to the main, and you'll be.
That's pretty cool. Where's Chad when you need him? You know, because this mic reminds me of Chad E.F. Peterson, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and you're still gonna get that really great sound, but now you're getting a whole new vibe, Jim. The other great thing about this mic is, again, you got the handling noise. It almost looks like that mic. I don't know if anybody's like a UFC fan, boxing fan. You know, it drops from the ceiling. You know, let's get ready to rumble. Yeah. Oh, what's up, Mr. Mod? Mr. Mod. Now, Mr. Mod with one of these, out of control with that old school IBM keyboard, you know? What do you think? Yeah. Okay.
I think that's good.
Yeah. So
And hello, Kirk Nugent. Kirk Nugent's in the house as well as Rome Knows Tech. We got a bunch of great influencers in here right now.
speaking of dope, Kirk Nugent is dope.
And here's the other one. I don't have it plugged in, but this one to me
Right.
reminds me of Darth Vader. It's got that Darth Vader look to it. Right?
Jim, you are a Sith Lord. You plug that thing in, and it's like, no, it won't sound like that. That would be bad.
Would that be bad?
Yeah, you got to plug that puppy in. We need to see how that looks.
I'm gonna plug it in on my other.
Okay.
I do have 2 boom arms now, so let me see if I can do that while you.
Yeah, Gabe. It is sexy. You know what? As soon as I like dim the lights and turn that thing on, all of a sudden my voice got all Barry White, and I just started being like, "Oh yeah, welcome to Dealcasters, where we're talking about mics from Heil Sound." And yeah, Kirk, you got to get this blue one, dude. And they have you can get one with the red LED light, and this is the chrome. Jim's got the black matte, and it's red, white, and blue, different LEDs. So in terms of whatever combination you want, Heil Sound can do it. But like, this is Detroit Lions. It's almost like they knew football season was upon us, and training camp starts on Friday. They knew, and so they were like, that's right, Mr. Mod, Rolling Stones. You want me to start singing Rolling Stones? I'm not going to sing Rolling Stones. Yeah. Okay. I think blue. I think everyone here in the chat is saying blue is their color. But wait till James William Fuse IV powers up his Darth Maul black matte with the red LED. And then we're going to see like, yeah, maybe that one is the one, right? Now, Jim, you're going to have to dim your lights a little bit too. And then that way you can hit that thing can pop.
You got to tell me, how do I do? So I'm in the
yeah, we got a little we're gonna do a little tech lesson. All right, so let me do this. All right, so on your mic, hit your top button, ladies and gentlemen, the Rodecaster Pro 2, and then you see on this the dynamic, and you see the little P48. Click that to on. You're gonna go mute for a second, and then it's gonna light up. That's the phantom power. We're going to get some vibe. I should get some Star Wars music for yours. Yeah. Did you get it going, Jim? Yeah.
My light thing's going to be a little bit more Sith Lordish.
Yeah. Phantom power mics. Rome, do you have any phantom power mics going on? Typically, you got dynamic mics don't use phantom power. There's really not a reason to, but now as there we go. Oh yeah, Jim, it's starting to look like. All right, Jim, let me get you. Okay, we're not hearing you though. We are seeing that vibe. I'll move myself over here. Shout out to Ecamm. It's almost looking orange, maybe, and I think that may be the light that you've got going on. Ooh. So you've got the phantom power on. Is it still on dynamic, Mike? And are you seeing level on your end? Because we're not getting level coming through on there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep. Now we hear you.
So see, Chris taught me phantom power. I feel like a phantom because it's kind of dark.
You're a Phantom Menace. How about that?
Phantom Menace. There you go. The Phantom Menace microphone. I love it. And I'm excited that we were able to figure out how to turn the lights on it. Because I have another one I may try. I'm going to switch back to the other, and this is for Gabe. You'll notice This is on the Heil Boom Arm, which we also have
Yes, sir.
in the chat. And so let me highlight that for you. This thing, you know, I'm like in love with this. This is so solid. I mean, these are not light mics, people, just so you know. These mics that we've been provided are heavy duty, and this boom arm acts like ain't nothing but a thing.
Yeah.
And adding the shock mount, if you want to use the shock mount for some of the other mics, is really really good. And so but yeah, now I'm excited.
You know what I'm thinking, Jim, is that these mics are good for Dealcasters after dark, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're ready made for Dealcasters after dark.
There you go.
You know, between that and the Detroit, it's like they knew, but they didn't.
This, you know what? This is a stretch, but I'm gonna say this is almost Washington Commander-ish.
Okay, Jim. All right. All right.
I could get a little bit more burn.
Yeah, Rome. So Dealcasters After Dark is a thing. And in fact, speaking of Mr. Mod, who's still here in the chat, we haven't done a Dealcasters After Dark in a minute. I guess our Star Wars shows kind of qualify as such, but we had a Dealcasters After Dark with Christina Nietzsche, who joined us and ate a cookie live. On another show, Jim actually took his shirt off. Yes, you heard that right. Yeah, man. So everyone got a peek at the retired lieutenant colonel's washboard.
So I'm going to switch back to my other mic.
I kind of like this look. I feel like you're going to tell me a ghost story. Once upon a time, there was a retired lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps who then became an influencer on Amazon. And Kirk Nugent followed us. But he qualified. Kirk Nugent qualified and said, I was already following. So he was like, you know what? He's double following us.
Can you hear me now, Chris?
I can, yes.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to try something while with this other microphone. It's another trick. So you can talk about something, and I'll switch to it while I do this mic thing.
Okay. Well, let's go to. Well, you're gonna talk about the MV7.
I was actually going to try something with the.
Yeah, let's go to the click. Give me the Rodecaster Pro, if you would, and then I'm gonna do because we've been using the Rodecaster Pro, a little bit. And you're getting sort of a taste of what you can do, and the stuff that we're doing right now. When I say Rodecaster Pro, this is the Rodecaster Pro 2, and when this first came out, there was a lot of people that were like, because everyone gets in line, for this, and much like the Rodecaster Pro 1. Let me do something here. I'm going to switch this. Be patient with me, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, so I can I'm gonna flip this over. No, I'm not. So as you can see right here, you've got 6 channels, right? And so I'm speaking into one. Let me go back to home. I'm speaking into one, but you see this 2 right here, this other microphone that's going, that's this Finn microphone that I had, but of course I've got it muted, so you're not hearing it. It's not coming through, right? And so you've got all of these pads. Now these are smart pads. So not only are you able to hit it and get music, so maybe you want to create some vibes going on, for your live stream, which is fine. A lot of people will do whatever, but you get a follower, right? And so Catherine Lang, thank you for that. Yes, Kirk Nugent is awesome, and Monty Weaver, brand deal goat in the house. Thank you, Monty, because then I got to play the little air horn and kind of so you can figure it out. But you can see you can program whatever you want to program here, including effects. And one of the things that you can do is a lot of people will ask not only do they ask if Jim is married all the time, but they'll, they ask what microphone we should use, but they'll also say, well, I want music in my live stream. How do I get music in my live stream? And, you got to have clearance. You don't really use music that much on our show, but a lot of other people will. And you can get your cleared music here and play that. But there's also something called a ducking effect that you can program into one of these smart pads. And what ducking does is it lowers your, it basically lowers the music as your voice comes in. So you don't have to worry about riding the fader on the music, like I can't hear what you're saying because the music's too loud, or I can't, all of that. So the ducking allows your voice to just kind of flow in there, and so you can program that here. I've got it programmed right here. So the ducking effect is on my voice right now, but I don't have music playing. But if I did, it would.
Oh, and then I've got some really cool effects that I can do, including
the megaphone. Yeah. So, there's all kinds of really cool stuff that you can do with those smart pads. You can have fun, most certainly. But, if you've got a podcast or, and you've got, four different, inputs for headphones so people can hear each other without it coming through the mix. You don't have to worry about what's called mix minus. And generally what mix minus allows you to do is you don't have to worry about if somebody's calling in and things are going back and forth. It just keeps things really easy for you to be able to set up your entire show. So Jim, I feel like you may be ready. You look like you might be ready.
Now this is actually from Shure, and I thought it would light up, but I do have the phantom power on, but it doesn't look like it quite does it. And this is the Super 55. But this kind of gives you that look of let's get ready to rumble. So I don't know if you can. Let me see if I can.
All right, you want me to go? I'm going to go. For whatever reason, my Stream Deck is getting funky.
Not being nice.
No, it's not. Hey, let me see. There we go.
There you go. So you can see this is the Super 55, right? Kind of gives you that let's get ready to rumble look. But I do have the phantom power on. Maybe it's me, right, operator, but it is not lighting up like Chris's mic, which is the Finn. But it's still got kind of that bluish silver look, and it's pretty nice. These are microphones for our friend Chad, and I think so. We'll have to see if Chad needs another microphone to help him on his show. Catherine's got a good question. If you have multiple people in the show, should you each have your own mic? Chris, I'm going to turn that one over to you.
Somehow I thought you might. All right, you know what, Catherine? Technically, you don't. But if you don't want, I'm going to turn my lights back on, by the way. Let me get my lights back on so that, there we go. So that I can see you, Catherine. Technically you don't. You can have a mic and you can share a mic. And here's another thing.
Chris, can you hear me now?
This mic, yes. This mic, which everyone knows what this is, right? Most people know what this is. This is not the R2D2 mic. This is the incomparable Blue Yeti mic. And every time someone follows Dealcasters, which we haven't said to everybody, if you haven't followed yet, but when you do, a Blue Yeti gets its wings. A microphone like this and other microphones like this, you can speak to either side of it. It's not only is it omnidirectional, but it's bidirectional. So like, you speak into the front of it, but somebody could speak into the back of it. And that comes in, goes into your computer and is recorded as one track. Here's why having 2, 3, 4, however many people you have on a podcast, here's why it's best to have separate microphones and headphones for each one of them. Because when someone coughs, So, like Jim and I, if we're doing a podcast and we're recording it right now, and Jim has a coughing fit while I'm saying something incredibly important, like, a Blue Yeti getting its wings, which, by the way, Catherine, thank you for following. A Blue Yeti gets its wings. Yes. So those tracks are separate. And so when you're editing your podcast after the fact, you can just pull out what's happening between the voices, which can be, it could be extra sound. It could be a dog barking. It could be, anything like that. And so, and then everyone's got their own headphones because they can hear your voice and maybe their own voice. But if it was coming out of a speaker, it goes back into the microphones. And so that's why it's important. Like Jim and I have in-ear monitors, but a lot of people, you'll see them wear the cans. Like, how about this for a segue, Jim?
Oh,
like the Heil Pro Set 3 headphones right here that we've got, which also have a phase switch, by the way. Kirk Nugent, if you're watching, you're nerding out big time on that. These will keep sound, in your head, not coming out from underneath your ears and going into a microphone. And I know everyone has listened to something going, wow, why is there that echo? They use the word echo. What that is it's someone's voice coming out of a speaker, going back into a microphone or multiple microphones. So technically you could use a microphone and share it, but you're painting yourself into a corner in terms of like maybe someone's voice is louder than someone else's. And so so what you can do when you have multiple microphones is take it and make sure all the voices are commensurate and everything sounds nice. The job of a podcast editor, that's me, is to make sure you don't notice the sound. Let me say that again. The job of a podcast editor is to make sure you don't notice the sound. You see, nobody listens to a podcast and goes like, everyone, if you're in the chat right now, type in your favorite podcast right now. Just type it in for me, because we should be sharing what our favorite podcasts are. I think that's really important. How It All Works by Kirk Nugent. There you go. So when you listen to that podcast, you don't say, you know what, I really love Dealcasters podcast because it sounds so good. It's like, no, that's not why you listen to a podcast. You listen to a podcast because you're getting something out of it. It entertains you. It educates you. It gives you, like, there's emotion. There's something you don't go, God, it just, I don't even know what they're saying, but it just sounds so good. Right. So a podcast editor, when you get multiple tracks and there's multiple things going on, you can make it so that it just feels like that conversation is two people in the same room, three people in the same room, however many people in the same room. So you don't notice little sounds, coughs, one voice being louder than the other, all of those things that we've all heard on other podcasts, and it just distracts you from the actual content, the actual education, entertainment, and emotion. So I hope that's a really long answer. I'm sorry, Catherine, but I hope that helps you.
And she does go on a little further, and she's like, so for editing purposes, multiple mics is a good idea. If you're live and not going to edit, then it's not as important. I would say not as important only if everyone has headphones, because you run the danger of echo feedback and other sounds getting picked up. So you still, I mean, Chris and I both are going to tell you audio is the most important thing of a live stream.
Yes.
Not the camera, not what software you're using, aside from the content, definitely the audio. So
I mean, if you can get, Catherine, if you can get it to sound good with, I'd use the acronym, and I stole this from Craig Groeschel, and the acronym is GETMO, and it's good enough to move on. And a lot of people have budget concerns, especially now, and I get it. And so sometimes it's like, well, I want to get a good mic, and I don't interview somebody all the time, and maybe we're in the same room or whatever, and so you got to share a microphone. And I've done that before. I've recorded podcasts with a shared microphone. You just have to figure it out. You have to kind of maybe test it out and record and go, oh, it looks like, when I do this. So what's paramount in that situation is mic technique for each person that is, in the room or using that, especially if it's a dynamic mic. You want to make sure that, just realizing, the distance between your voice and the microphone is the same as everybody else. Or if somebody is is a really more of a quiet, they may want to get closer, right? And so your best sound's going to come the closest you are to the microphone, but make sure you're not speaking directly into the top of the microphone, because that's going to push extra air. Those are called plosives. I just did it right there. So if I said that very same word into the microphone, this is what it sounds like. Plosives. Right. And you can't do anything about that. I'm sure we lost millions of viewers and listeners just right there. And so that's why you'll see pop filters, or you'll see like other pop filters that look like something that's why, because that extra air that pushes out when you say words is like toaster and pizza and all that air. That's why I speak across, and that's why Jim speaks across the top of the microphone. Voices are still close, but when that extra air comes out, it doesn't go into the microphone. So mic technique is all of these things are more important than the mics themselves, to be honest. All of these mics are really nice.
Show them, Chris, because we were talking about interfaces.
Yep.
This may be something also that could help you, Catherine, in what you're doing. And I think a lot of times, because people are using USB mics, they don't consider the fact that by getting an interface, one, you can move yourself into XLR, have better control of your microphones. This is what I used up until recently when I switched over. This is the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. I can put 2 microphones into this, and each one of them can have its own gain. So this would be great for an in-person interview with 2 people. They make ones, I think, with 4 and even 8.
Oh yeah.
And this is how I learned about this. Is I was at a conference before that which shall remain nameless occurred, and people take this because it's portable and they can have multiple microphones, and then that way everybody's got their own mic. It's just makes things very simple. It's affordable, so you don't have to because I get it, but I've used this up until literally when I switched over to the Rode, but I actually still use the Focusrite with my laptop when I'm using Zooms, because I like having the XLR microphone. I just, I know it's probably in some cases, can you really tell the difference between USB and XLR? Chris probably can. But he's spent many years with that skill.
She's got a Behringer interface, which is great. Yeah. I've got a Behringer Euphoria with, and the reason why I got a Behringer Euphoria is because it had 4 inputs and it was more affordable than the 4-input Scarlett. And I still have it.
The 4i4, yeah.
Yeah. I still have it. The Scarlett is more expensive, but it has incredible preamps. And you're going to get a little bit more noise with the Behringer. But it's not, again, it's like some people can't even tell. I can. But the Behringer interface, how many inputs does your Behringer interface have, Catherine, and how many are you needing? Lamont, thanks for stopping by. And Sophia says hi, Jim. So Sophia says hello. And Catherine says, yep, she's got that very same one and got it. Great interface. And I've taken that thing and recorded so much stuff with that Behringer interface. So that's very, very cool. Let me make sure we have covered Barry White.
Well, Lamont was talking about sexy voices,
right.
and I thought of Barry White.
Oh
Barry
my
White and
gosh.
Lamont Wayne.
Is noise cancel from Johnny? I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe does the Rodecaster, because maybe that was during the time I was talking about the Rodecaster Pro. Or the microphone. Oh, so that's a pretty good question. None of these Heil microphones, by the way, have like a mute button. I did notice that. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've ever used a mute button on my actually the Samson Q2u. I've used that a couple that mute button, sometimes unintentionally.
Well, and we also found out, like with the MV7, the way I have it set up, XLR, I can't mute it. But if you're using USB, I believe you can. And does that sound right? Remember, I think we talked about that, because you have the controls with the USB MV7 versus the XLR.
Exactly. So yeah, there's not a like a hard mute button, like because once you're coming out of the XLR, you're not getting that. But with the Samson Q2u, that mute button works both. And it somehow, I don't know the circuit or however they do it. But I mean, how often do you need a mute button? You're usually, when you're using a microphone, you're usually going through some sort of software, and there's mute functionality in the software, or like for me, the Rodecaster Pro 2, you can mute there. So do you need it on the mic itself? Maybe if you're taking it on the road somewhere or whatever. I don't know if that's something you really, how often do you really need a mute button? So.
Okay, so Johnny, I think he's asking about those headphones, if they're noise canceling. He said on the Heil.
They are not. They are not. Yeah. Good question. They are not. These are these Heil Pro Set 3s are they're studio headphones. So what I'm going to use for this is editing. So they're fantastic monitors, and they're made for having them on your ears for hours, and they have a phase switch. And a lot of people are like, well, what is that? What that's going to do is it's great for fatigue. So when I'm editing for hours, when I just have to crank out a gazillion videos and podcasts, I will every couple of hours flip the phase, and that helps with ear fatigue. Most of the time when it comes to podcasting, everything is straight down the middle. It's in mono, as it should be. But sometimes that stereo stuff. So like for live sound, this is a big deal. This phase. So these are used in music studios, recording studios, podcast studios, super high quality. I will say this. We were talking earlier about sound going back into the microphone. This, and I'm going to go to an overhead shot really quickly. So the comfort of these Pro Set 3s, you can see, to me, these are just as good as Jim. Some of my favorites are the Audio Technica ones. So these are like super, super soft, super high quality. And so, I've had, less expensive headphones, and just all of these things just kind of seem to be like cheap, right? This is solid, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold it up to the microphone. So you should know these. If you're picking these up, this is one thing you got to make sure you're aware of. Listen to this. Right? So when I was doing this, that's the sound. It's like little click. And the reason why is because all the high quality stuff that's going on here, and you want to get it adjusted and you want it to stick. But it does make a little bit of an audible click. So that's the one thing that I would say. Again, is it a non-starter? No, these are fantastic headphones. They're great for monitoring. But if I'm going to use it in a recording situation and I don't want them going into my microphone, I just got to be aware that I'm going to set it and make sure that, I know that if I need to adjust them, I need to get them away from my microphone in order to do that. So that would be the only thing. I hope that helps. These headphones are awesome. Robert Mitchell, thank you for following. Rosalinda, what's up? Stone Cold Steve Austin in the house. Yeah, let's get ready to rumble. Rosalinda, check out my new microphone. How cool is that? It lights up. How cool is that? Awesome, right?
It's like the shake weight.
It's like the shake weight? No.
To shake the microphone.
Oh God. I would never.
I do want to talk about something, Chris, real quick.
Yep.
Because since we've been talking a little bit about headphones, this is a trick I learned on the fly because I was having some issues. Remember when I was going live from Lima,
Mm-hmm.
and I ran into a crazy situation. These Shure Ionic Freeze.
Yes.
Which I would have never thought this would have worked. And so people are going to get a kick out of this. I used these to go live. So it was Bluetooth, which is, I know, normally against my thing. Here, I'll give it to the overhead. I think I got it. So these will charge for, I believe it's, the case will recharge them, but gives you plenty of time. So they've got multiple buds to fit. So what happened though, there was two of us. I had a guest next to me, kind of what you're talking about, Catherine. And because I couldn't get the audio to work right, I put one in one of my ears, and God bless my guest, she put one in her ear. So we were sharing these and could both not only hear Tim, who was on the other side, but it also kept all the noise that was going on in the room because we were actually even using this as the microphone. So I was actually able to use this to live stream on StreamYard.
Nice.
Using these Ionic Freeze, and it was kind of funny because I was like, it was one of those, you should test your gear before you live stream, and I did a good job of it. But I really like these. These are very comfortable. I will say, not something that I would go running in. But if you're going to walk around, the house, want to listen to stuff, they're really good. But then the other thing too that I just got that I think are even in some aspects better, and that is the Shure Ionic 215s. This is like the second edition. And these.
Ooh, I don't have these, Jim.
I don't know that I would run in them, but let me take one out. I think I got the right one.
I would run in those before I would run in the Ionic Freeze. Although I will tell you, I've been running with the Ionic Freeze.
I would agree with you there, because what these do, right? These go in, and this is not going anywhere. This is solid. I can move my head all over the place.
Yep.
It's not moving. I think the only reason I don't think about, it's like, I don't know that I want to get this pretty blue. But
again, Detroit Lions colors.
Extremely comfortable. Both of these, Shures, the Ionic Freeze and the 215s, as you can even see, starting to charge once I put it back in the case. So you can get multiple charges out of the case. Definitely something, if you're traveling, that I think you would want to consider. So, Chris, we can go back.
Catherine says it's 9,000 degrees. You should be running. You shouldn't be running anywhere unless someone's chasing you.
Well,
someone is training for a marathon, Catherine.
That's right. We don't have any choices.
That's right.
Marathon training does not wait on the temperature. If I wait to run in October to train, I'll die when I run the marathon.
You need to move to Canada for a couple of months or something to train. Or schedule your marathons for May, so you're training in the winter. And then run faster than Forrest Gump, according to
working on that. He's pretty fast. Okay, Sila. Okay, they're asking what is the range. I think if they're talking about the headphones, I want to say it was. Does 37 dB sound right, Chris?
The range from the source,
the range from the location,
the Bluetooth range, or That I don't know. Like, I've only used, I mean, we could look it up on the product page, but I've only used that for, for running. And so I've got my device with me when I go running. I've yet to kind of keep them on and like walk away from my phone. So that is a good question, though. We should look at the distance
while we're talking on the
Yeah.
the 215s, I believe. What was the range? And they do have the 215s.
Yeah, you look at the
do
215s,
have
and I'll look up the range.
the isolation, so you can get sound isolation. I thought when I looked, and I
30
think,
feet on the Ionic Freeze.
Yeah.
10 meters.
Yeah, it's 37 dB of noise elimination for the 215s, and 32 hours of battery life, but it's 8 hours per charge, so you could recharge it 3 times and get a total of 32 hours out of the.
What about the range
215s.
in terms of? They should have a range.
From your device is let me find that.
'Cause the range on the Ionic Freeze, which were the these more bud-looking ones, that's 30 feet, 10 meters.
Yeah, same with these. They're both 30
Okay.
feet, which
There you go.
know, it's, and I've gotten away with a little bit farther than that.
And you say
sometimes.
you don't run with these? I've been running with these.
Really?
And typically, I've told you this before, I've always felt like they were just going to come sliding out. These things stay in. These things stay in really, really well. And they have, what's really cool is they have environment mode. So that's my other concern, right? Is that you have these really great earbuds, and then you have noise cancellation, right? And so then
you don't hear the car that's honking at you about
right,
to kill you.
or somebody screaming or something like that. When you go running, I just do not recommend noise cancellation, sound cancellation. And so the Ionic Freeze with the software from Shure allows you can dial in the amount of environment that you want to bring in too, which is awesome, because it's like I pull it up and I turn it on so that it's noise cancellation. Then I just tick it to where I can hear just a bit of what's happening, so I can hear a car or I can hear.
And you can do the same thing with the 215s. It
Awesome.
does have with the software. You can do environment mode. But I'll tell you something, and we didn't put it in the carousel, but you kind of turned me on to this. Was I just started using the Aftershocks bone conduction headphones, and I've been pretty happy with those. I've been using those, but now you've got me thinking maybe I'll try the Shures.
Run, Logan, run.
People won't talk to me when I'm running because they'll say, "Oh, he's got earphones and he can't hear me."
Well, you don't want anybody talking to you? Is that what you're saying?
No, because I'm dying out there. Because it was hot yesterday, Catherine. It was in the 90s, and I decided to go run 5 miles at 4:00 in the afternoon. But truth be told, when I was a younger man many years ago,
back in 1948,
Okinawa, Japan, in the Marines, I would run at least 6 miles a day, and we have these flag conditions in the Marine Corps going from like green, I think it goes green, yellow, red, and black is like you're not supposed to exercise. Do you think I cared that it was a black flag, Chris Stone?
No.
So I would run in black flag in the middle of the day, 6 miles, because then when you run in the morning when it's cool, it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not probably the smartest thing in the world, but that's
speaking of running
in the heat.
Jim, speaking of running, I got something new. It's in the carousel.
Oh, that's right.
The Garmin Forerunner 245 music. So this is like, I've had my other Garmin watch for like 5 years. And do you want to know why I got a new Garmin watch? Not because it stopped working. It still works.
Because you could.
Because my wife said it stunk. She said that watch stinks, and I thought at first she was like she didn't mean literally, right? But she did. She meant it literally, and I was like, well, I replaced it, and it was because I run with it all the time, and of course, sometimes you just are not aware of it, and I was like, let me look at Prime Day and kind of see. Because Garmin, usually in Prime Day, they're going to sale price this stuff. Well, this is still on sale price, and it's awesome. And the thing I like about it is you don't need to bring your device to listen to your playlists, to listen to music, to listen to podcasts. So if you have Spotify, Amazon Music, all kinds of music services, you basically can just sync them to your phone your watch. Then you hook up your Bluetooth headphones to it, and you just go running with your music. And this thing tracks your heart rate, your steps, and everything. The beauty as well is that I found, of course, a blue Detroit Lions looking watch face here, but there's just all kinds of free watch faces you can download, apps, depending on it. And it's not just for running. They call it Forerunner, and it is great for running, but it's hiking, it's bicycling, it's just all kinds of activities that whatever you're doing, you just, you hit this, you find the activity, whether it's treadmill, indoor track, bike, pool, swimming. Garmin also, another great thing about Garmin is they have this really great dashboard. We have a Garmin scale that that weighs, which is scary, but you basically you just stand on it and it weighs you, and it goes, all that information gets uploaded, and so you can consistently monitor your weight, your body fat percentage. So all of that stuff is done for you. You just go and you exercise, and then you can monitor it, and you can go, okay, well, I'm improving here, but your sleep, all of those things. And my other Garmin watch that I've talked about before, Jim, you've seen it. It was pretty huge. I mean, it was pretty big. This thing it's so light, and so sleeker. What's that?
A little sleeker.
Oh yeah, a lot sleeker. And you know what else? It doesn't stink.
Not yet. Give it a couple years.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, and I finally went to the Series 7 Apple Watch, and I talked about it during Prime Day, and
that was on sale on Prime
with it because I can throw it on the charger, it charges up pretty quick, and I can get away with one charge a day for like less than half an hour, because that's what was keeping me from using it. Because I was using the Fitbit before. But Garmin's are great watches. But it also I know you kind of laugh, but it was the commercials during the Super Bowl when they were talking about, the people that were falling and couldn't get up, and the Apple Watch would call 911. And, at my age, I just never know. So I figured I'd better have a way for that. And so using it a lot for the health monitoring but same thing. It's like, you know how many calories you're burning. It does the heart rate stuff. That I wasn't quite getting that out of the Fitbit. Fitbit's got its things, but even if Chris calls me, I'm able to answer it on the watch, which is kind of funny. I never thought I would be George Jetson, but apparently I have become George Jetson. And
it actually sounds better than your phone at times, depending on where you're at. Yeah. Catherine says that when she goes out walking, all she listens to is the sounds around her, and that's the best music ever. And Randall Constant, welcome to the show. The food guy, go follow the food guy. Fitbit Sense hit an all-time low, $170.99 for the wow. That's a great deal, for sure. Yeah, some people are more into Fitbit than they are the Garmin or the Apple Watch. For me, and I didn't mention this about the Garmin that I bought. The number one well, not number one, but one of the top things that I love about the Garmin watch that I had and that I have on this new one is battery life. Battery life is just unparalleled. It just is like, I charge this thing and I'm like, all of a sudden I go, wait a minute, I haven't charged this thing for like a week. And I'll look down at my battery power and it's like, still at like 65. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I know other people that have other smartwatches we won't mention. And it's like, oh, I gotta charge it. Or they're always charging. And I'm thinking to myself, how are you monitoring your sleep? How are you doing all of these things that you want if you have to charge it overnight? Right. So, every once in a while you got to put it down and charge it, but like I'll charge it. It'll charge itself up in less than an hour and I'm good for a couple of weeks and I use it all the time. It's incredible.
And I will say that, we've talked about that before. That's definitely a great benefit and feature. Cause like, that's the one thing. If I go on a trip, I better bring my charger or my watch will be dead in less than a day.
Yep.
So that is the downside. I haven't really looked into some of those magnetic chargers that you can like charge everything on because I have a specific charger for the watch, but that may be something that I look into. But I will say one of the things that I've been, call me crazy. I downloaded iOS 9 and also the iOS 16 betas. And what's cool about one of the new features with Apple Fitness is now it automatically, as I'm running, it gives me the mile split as I do each mile. Like it'll when I hit the mile, it'll say this was your time for that mile. So that's kind of a nice feature.
Yep.
So they're definitely upping it with the fitness stuff because I think a lot of people are, yourself included, right? You want to be able to track the data and know how am I doing? Am I getting better?
Well, yeah, and you could do that with Garmin.
You a little bit, right? I mean,
yeah,
I do the Apple Fitness, and it's like I have to stand 12 hours a day for at least a minute every hour to make that goal. But that gets you off of your backside, which is it's not good to sit all day.
No, it's not. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's also not good for you to run in 9,000 degrees, according to Catherine.
That's true.
We're not doctors. We're not doctors, but we did stay at a Holiday Inn Express
last night.
When
I go to Podcast Movement in Dallas, I'll probably be running on a treadmill inside the hotel. Because I've heard it's like 100+ degrees in Dallas right now, and it's causing the city to catch on fire.
Randall, you are right. A dead watch is not cool. Definitely is not cool.
I would call that a paperweight.
Yes. Jim, we've knocked out a lot of these products and we've gone the only thing we haven't really touched on, the Shure MV88, which we put in there. And the other one is Audio-Technica 2100. I don't have that on hand right now, but that's just another option. We were talking about mics. We're talking about USB mics. Of course, the Q2u.
This is the one I started with. This is the Shure or the Samson Q2u. This was my first XLR USB microphone. And like you said, Chris, this is still a great mic. Like if you're going to travel, right, you throw this in the bag, you can use it, easily and not be worried about
built like a tank, baby.
Your other mics. So, I think Chris and I are both starting microphone museums in our house.
You know what though? I mean, you can't talk about mics if you don't have them and you haven't tested through them and you don't have like something that looks like the Detroit Lions microphone. What do you think, Randall Constant? Do they make a New Orleans Saints microphone like that? No, they have a Detroit Lions one though. And you should hear how buttery smooth it sounds on my voice.
That Randall is a Roll Tide fan as well. The other thing, I don't know, you showed it. I think you're actually using it, but I've got it not mounted.
Yep.
Is the shock mount for the Heil. And
yes, so that's what I've got right now.
This thing, right? Like you can see, like these bands. They kind of feel like rubber bands, but what they're actually doing is they're absorbing the sound. And then this is where you would put the your XLR cable through here, and then that'll allow your microphone to sit in there. And yeah, this will work with the boom arm we were talking about. This thing too is not light, right? I mean, this could be used as a weapon, if necessary, when people are invading your studio. Yeah, I said Roll Tide. Somewhere around here I have some Roll Tide paraphernalia.
Yeah, another question we get a lot is, why someone might need a shock mount. And I can show you right now. Here you go. Here's why you need one. That's why you need one. You don't hear that, and you just if you're in a broadcast situation, and you want to move things around, and your things are bouncing, whatever, you're not going to hear any of that. Vibration is sound. And so shock mounts, unless a microphone like the Shure MV7, Shure SM7B as well, the reason why you don't need a shock mount with a mic like this is because it has built-in shock absorption in this, as well as the Shure SM7B, which of course is Joe Rogan's mic. It's also in our carousel as well. It just has this yoke, which you attach to your boom arm, and you don't have to worry about a shock mount at all. So there you go.
Yeah.
Rock and roll, Jim. I think we knocked out a lot of stuff.
We've given these people enough food for thought. I mean, let us know if you have more questions about mics. We've got we definitely can do that. And and Chris,
Jim,
let's do a little tease. Should we do a little tease?
Oh, for next week.
Yeah.
We're doing that show on
Monday.
Monday? Is it Monday?
Monday's the 1st.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching, we have a special show on Monday. And I think, Jim, what we'll do is probably tomorrow we will put something up. We won't announce exactly what it is, but we will have a special show because there will be, let's see, how can we say this so that we're not in any sort of, but there will be a special product announcement. How's that? Hopefully we did.
A special product announcement only available, I believe, on Amazon.
That is correct. It is an Amazon exclusive product, and Jim and I are lucky enough to be able to have it on hand on Monday. We will be demonstrating this product, and it will be launched on Monday for pre-order. And so we're excited, super excited to be able to do this on Monday. So please stick around. Johnny, Brandy T, thank you for following. Thank you for following. And Brandy, you know what happens when you follow Dealcasters? A blue Yeti gets its wings. I need like a hallelujah chorus or something, like sound effect, Yes, but we have like a little applause for you. So yeah, Johnny Kong, we're excited. So Randall, Johnny, Brandy, do we say Sila? Is that how we're going to say that? Everyone else who's watching us, is Jim okay? Jim, are you okay?
I'm okay. I had to mute for a second. I had a cough from running in the heat. So.
I missed that. It's good to know that you have people concerned about you, Jim. It is good to know. But yeah, so as always, everyone, thanks for sticking around. And you know what, Jim? Geez, we've been so involved with Amazon that we do have some comments here. Well, Catherine is on LinkedIn, and then Rich Graham, what is up? Hope you're doing well. We're seeing that he's over on YouTube, which is interesting. Oh, okay, not on the Dealcasters YouTube page. We put it on Cast Ahead, the YouTube page. because I'm not going to say bad words on Amazon. But we have a thing going on right now with our friends at YouTube. So anyway, as always, folks, thanks for joining, and don't fear the gear.